can wipe off that grin, 'cause I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Well, hello all. I hope you're all doing well. Hi, I'm Pippas Star. Welcome to Pippas Live. Yes, I'm live, random. Gone a little bit random live today to say hello to Jim Berkey. The Awakening finally, no. Yeah, look, I need to apologise. I lied, and I guess I'm asking for some forgiveness here. Yeah, look, I set out on a journey, and I'm still on that journey, to bring a weekly live show here on this channel. About all things life related, all different guests, etc. Look, since then, as I say, a quick hi and hello to Raven Shadows, long time, I hope you're doing well. And unfortunately, I'd lied, because I said, look, this isn't going to be a vaping channel. It's not going to be about vaping stuff. But there's some critical stuff going on about that particular subject that I know too much about, that I've engaged with too many people about, and I have too much interest in. I have too much care for other people regarding the whole vaping issue, that I can't just walk away from that. And I'm not walking away from Pippas Live. Instead, Pippas Live right now, whilst it will get back on track with all different stories, all different genres, all different people, all different backgrounds, at the moment I am concentrating a lot on the vaping issue. In fact, so much so at the moment I decided to embark only a few weeks ago on a little project for a documentary called Australia Up in Smoke. And so there you go, guys. I've been working on that in the background furiously, intensely. So many facts, so many figures going through my head regarding all things vape related in Australia, and finding out who the key stakeholders are, if you like, and working out who the key antagonists are, and what's rightly or wrongly going on right now in the Australian vaping scene, etc. But there you go. Damn, jumping between shows. Okay, no problem at all there, Jim. So, yeah, look, firstly, if you'd like to come on to Pippas Live as a guest, where we can just chat a little bit about life, because that's essentially what this channel is about. Or even share your vaping story with us here, or maybe some interesting little tidbit about the whole vaping issue, meaning the use of e-cigarettes and vaping and ENDS products being under siege, as it currently is right now. And you only have to follow me on Twitter at LivePippas. That's right, at LivePippas, to see just how active I'm actually being in that advocacy realm, and really sticking it to those anti-vaping lobbyists, so much so that I've been blocked by a few, but not to worry, it's all part of it, right? It's all part of that. So yeah, so I just thought I'd just do a random live. I'm surprised I've even got a couple of viewers, to be honest, today, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to engaging with you guys. I'd like you to maybe comment after I'm finished with the stream today underneath the stream, and yeah, let me know if there's any questions, any concerns, any comments, interesting tidbits that I might not know, or you think other people should know about what's happening. Please let me know. If you're over there in the States, you want to get to Washington DC, I believe tomorrow, out there in the Oval, I believe, one of the quadrants of the Oval there at the back, and make sure that you're represented as part of the 2,500 people approximated to be there, COVID safely protesting. Yeah, throw vaping into the conspiracies. Look, the thing is, I guess I need to look up the definition of conspiracies, but is a conspiracy a theory that may or may not be happening, or is it, yeah, it's a definite thing that's happening? But I would like to not call it a conspiracy because generally, or cliche speaking, that is about where conspiracies are treated as might be some truth to it, but it's not entirely. I'd like to speak the 100% truth because the problem is at the moment is the anti-vape lobbyists who unfortunately have got their fingers and hands on too many resources at the moment are making an absolute mess of the potential situation where people could actually have a smoke-free future. So they're making an absolute mess of that. So yeah, not really a conspiracy. It's just fact. It's just the way it is, and had some fun. So look, before I'm gonna keep this one pretty short because I just wanted to really kind of just update you guys who stay subscribed to the channel. So thank you firstly for those couple of few that have newly subscribed to the channel. Thank you. Yeah, and yeah, sort of keep you updated. But what I might do, just for a little bit of fun, I might refer to some of the stuff that's going on, on Twitter at the moment. I'll just have a look. Tim says in the chat, this is what I like to do, is to interact with the chat, of course. You have the same people doing COVID, doing this shit with vaping. Yeah, look, there's a little bit of crossover. I mean, it looks like they even tried to tie in the coronavirus with vaping, as in the sense that they tried to do this study that was done by Stanford University. I was overlooked by the one and only Stan Glantz, that was trying to link the prevalence of teenage vaping being an increased risk with getting COVID-19. Basically, they ballsed it all up. But unfortunately, regardless of whether they ballsed it all up, there's enough people with enough influence, if you like, that can get that false information in the wrong hands of the media. Before you know it, there's data flying all around the world or on the internet with, oh my god, the kids are getting coronavirus because they're vaping, and which is all a load of absolute bollocks, horse shit, whatever you want to call it. And so don't worry, kids, if you're vaping, I can tell you here now, you're no more of an increased risk of getting COVID than not vaping. So if you're under 18, if you're not of legal age, you shouldn't be vaping. It's as simple as that. Yeah, so Facebook banned for sharing the truth, go figure. Yeah, look, it's a kind of interesting subject at the moment, isn't it? That we are being censored more than ever before. Is it right or is it wrong? I welcome your thoughts and your comments, whether you're watching this live on the replay. There certainly is YouTube here, I believe, as well as probably more so Facebook. I've been in the media of late censoring people's views. So look, I think there's some pretty wild people with some pretty radical views that a lot of people seem to be, engaging in, and some pretty ideological views at that. Rightly or wrongly, they've been removed, and a lot of groups have been. Generally speaking, we're referring to people who believe they've got some extra rights, or they believe they've got some rights that they would normally have outside of COVID-19 times. But COVID-19 times are exactly where we're at, and unfortunately it is a drastic time in history, and there are drastic measures. I do believe that the pregnant girl, only I think two days ago, here in Melbourne, Australia, who was handcuffed, was definitely a bit heavy-handed. the Victorian police who did arrest her believe that she wasn't dealt with a little bit heavy-handed. In my opinion, I thought it was an overstep. Look, I can understand the action that was taken to say, hey, you wanted to organise a protest of 250 odd people on Facebook, that's against the rules. We're going to come to your house and handcuff you. Look, I think that pregnant woman in front of her children getting handcuffed wasn't necessarily the best way to go about it, and I think most Australians will agree. If you think otherwise, let me know. It's an interesting one, right? 8-day internet, telecommunication and television shutdown coming to a place near you very soon, says the hot tip with Jim. Will I place a bet on it? I think it'd be an interesting bet on it, as much as I think there's a higher chance of that happening as me winning the lotto this week. But hey, I'm yet to be proven wrong. I could be proven wrong. But it was interesting, things have happened in a long shot. Look, let's put it this way. If you had money on that the grand final would be here, where I am in beautiful Vegas, Queensland, if you had money on that the grand final, the AFL grand final, the big game here in Australia, was going to be played in Brisbane this year, you had it on 12 months ago, my God, you would have got 1,000,000 to 1 odds. And it'd be interesting to see if Brisbane come up, and obviously Adelaide have their golden wooden spoon presented. A golden wooden spoon, what is that? That is a treasured prize in the sporting heartland of Australia, where if you are the losing team, you get a chance to have a spoon. Apparently. Right, let's have a talk about what's going on Twitter. So if I'm looking over this way, it's because I'm looking over at Twitter and want to just pick out some highlights that happened this week. FYI, I'm going to have a go for the first time in actually going live on Twitter. I don't know how to do it through OBS and Periscope. I'm still looking into that. If you can help me with that, please email me at pippaslive@gmail.com, and I'd love to hear from you, or look me up on Facebook and send me a message, or on Twitter and send me a message. I'd love to be able to go from OBS into Twitter and maybe even dual stream between YouTube and Twitter. Otherwise, what's the point? Because I'm gonna have a go at going live on Twitter shortly on my mobile phone. Meanwhile, we've been having some fun. There's a guy on Twitter who believes that the only place where you can get nicotine from is in tobacco. I tried to say, hey buddy, but did you think about eggplants, tomatoes, cauliflowers, all this sort of thing? And he still resents the fact. I sent in the monkeys, as they would say. I don't know who says that, but anyway. and a whole heap of other people let him know as well. But it goes to show that a person like that who was actually advocating for or against the use of ENDS products and e-cigarettes with nicotine in Australia would be so daft to actually understand that nicotine is the component in tobacco that is actually extracted, taken out. It's like saying, let's take out the water out of a tomato, and let's take the water out of an eggplant, and let's just say one's not really water. It's water whether you take it out or not. And the same point is nicotine, as even the Public Health England have pointed out, is that nicotine isn't tobacco. It isn't a tobacco product. A tobacco product is complete. Nicotine, once it's taken out of tobacco, it's no longer a tobacco product because it's not completely tobacco. So it's not really tough. But anyway, interesting. You get these twits that basically think that they know it all, and that's just one example of some of the fun stuff. Some of the fun stuff we're going. Look, not a really influential person to worry about there, thankfully. Sadly, the trend is, I've noticed obviously on Twitter, is those who have, dare I say, the most influence block you the most. In other words, so they want to be able to say and spruik out a whole heap of false truths, but you're blocked, and as soon as you call them out, there's a block because of fake science and that sort of thing. Read that comment. I want you getting a strike for it. Didn't see that, but that's okay. No problem at all. Did I mention that I am working on a documentary at the moment called Australia Up in Smoke? So that is coming soon. All going to plan, hopefully have it ready at the end of next week. It may be another week. How long is it going to go for? As long as I need to tell the story. At the moment, I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes. So keep an eye on things there, and make sure you stay subscribed to the channel. Click that bell so when that very important documentary comes out, that will show lots of stuff about how the smoking and vaping situation is treated here in Australia right now, and where we are at and where we possibly will be in the future. Will be covered in that with the most up-to-date information possible. And believe you me, that information changes every day. I've had to make so many tweaks to this little doco I'm working on already, but I guess that's the challenge that I set myself. It's not something I've done a lot, but I'm certainly just going to give it my best go. So I appreciate those who are supporting me with that. I don't know who else to talk about. The interesting revelation this week was Michael Johnson, an MP from New South Wales, came out in favour of vaping and basically shared with the media his journey on how he actually quit smoking with the e-cigarette. So good on him for doing so, and he's looking at actually going one step further and investigating what he can do for the state of New South Wales, at least for the state of New South Wales, to become a lot more e-cigarette friendly, if you like. So I think that they're all very important steps. I know Tasmania, they're looking at trying to do the same. Northern Territory, there's a guy by the name of Maurice Swanson. Unfortunately, he's been around the situation for too long. He's been trying to apply the brakes up there, but he's from Western Australia, so I say keep your bloody big nose out of it. Unfortunately, what happens though, and what is really apparent, as I dig deeper into the advocacy of vaping, is that there is a lot of people who are just too old. Look, let's face it, there are old people who have lost touch, who are trying to make choices for younger people, and while it's maybe important to be able to have some wisdom to share on, I mean, we don't want kids vaping, for instance, they're really trying to influence those of legal age to make poor decisions, such as quit cold turkey. There's no other way to quit smoking other than cold turkey, when there are other options that are more effective than just cold turkey and that sort of thing. So yeah, just wanted to see what else is on the profile, highlight reel, that's worth talking about. As I said, I don't want to go too long today. They tried to link coronavirus, as we spoke about, with vaping. They tried to release an advertising study. Would you believe this? Because there was a bunch of businesses across the world, basically, there were, like most other businesses, like any business was, desperate for a few bucks, desperate to keep in business, if you like, supplying the odd masks, supplying the odd hand sanitizers, along with orders, and letting their customer base know that. They did a targeted study where they literally bundled all the advertising that involved a COVID-19 product, if you like, with all, with all the vape companies, all in one study, and gone, oh look, that's what all the vapers are doing. They're just taking advantage of the COVID-19 situation. And these are the sort of nannists that unfortunately are at the fore of the battle at the moment, against this fight against vaping with e-cigarettes here in Australia. And look, e-cigarettes, if you've only just come across this channel for the first time and you want to know a little bit more about it, there will be, as I said, that documentary, short documentaries, totally engaging, that will have more about the actual facts. It's not some sort of documentary that's only made for vapors. It's actually a bit of an education, if you like, done in the most informative, light, easy to digest way, so that you guys in the general public can understand more about the advantages of what is going on with vaping, rather than just listening to those little bits of information you might hear through the media. This may or may not be correct at times, but bottom line is, it is 95% safer than smoking. It isn't 100% harm-free, but it is at least twice, if not more, effective than any other NRT cessation method. It is legal. Would you believe it's illegal for me to actually say that here in Australia? Because there are TGA laws, there are Therapeutic Goods Administration, apparently don't allow me to say that because I'm making a therapeutic claim. And until I submit enough paperwork for them to look over to check, they won't let me say that. But I suggest them to come onto my channel and tell me otherwise, because I rely on the science. I'm relying on the science of many, many well-educated people across the world, including the Public Health of England, who were the very, very first educated institution in the world that originally called out the harms of smoking. Before anyone else. In the 60s. It took them to the 60s for them to work out, oh shit, the bungers or the cigarettes aren't any good for you. But yeah, so I rely on their science, and they did a fantastic in-depth study back in 2016, and they've also done several updates since, reconfirming once again that it is a fantastic harm reduction alternative, widely used across the UK, the New Zealand, USA, Scandinavia, across the Western nations, where Australia, basically we lag behind all those. So that's vaping in a nutshell. It doesn't harm anyone else that's around you, and for all the other nitty-gritty, watch Australia Up in Smoke, coming soon. Alright, yeah, I guess it's probably, one of the interesting things, I should actually share screen this. Yeah, I'm going to share screen this one. Let's give this a go. Share screen, there we go. So here on, this is probably one of my highlights of the week. Was seeing this post from Simon Chapman, who's just got a long history. I'll go through it in the documentary in a little bit more detail. It'll take only a minute. About this guy's history in around vaping advocacy circles. Or anti-vaping advocacy, I should say, or anti-smoking circles. I mean, I congratulate the guy for what he actually achieved in the 70s and 80s, but he has lost touch as we are in 2020 now. Anyway, basically, whenever he's asked about harm reduction, he's about harm minimal, like gone. No harm, otherwise it's no good. If it's not fresh air, it's no good for you. That type of thing. But quite interesting, this photo will make it quite clear that he is into harm reduction, because why else would you wear a mask? He's into using a therapeutic good, because clearly it's a therapeutic good, that isn't approved by the TGA, which, you know, is a sticking point that they like to argue against vaping, because the mods and the equipment we use to stop smoking by using an e-liquid of nicotine hasn't been approved by the TGA, but, you know, they don't approve anything, generally speaking, without a great big wad of cash and without a pharmaceutical name in front of it. Let me tell you, even a wad of cash may not even help you. As proven by Philip Morris. And don't get me wrong, I hate big tobacco as much as this guy does, as much as young Simon here does. But there he was, giving his neighbour a plug. Isn't he a good guy? Trying to sell masks that weren't approved by the Therapeutic Goods Administration, subject to being corrected there, but I can be 99.9% recurring sure that there is no way that mask has been approved by the Therapeutic Goods Administration. as all proper safety PPE, etc., they have safety standards, I guarantee you. The only safety standard that particular one has is that maybe we can't see Simon's face as much if we're a little bit frustrated with him. That's all I can say. But there you go, $10 apparently, bring your own material. You can bring your own material. My goodness. There we go. So, yeah, that was certainly a highlight of the week. Lots of lowlights, but hey, it's a little bit. It's a massive battle, you know, the whole vaping issue, and you know, it's something we've got to sort of keep fighting for. So, if it's something that interests you, I will keep providing more further information on this channel. As I say, also with the documentary I'm working on. But, as I said near the top, I don't want this channel necessarily to be all about vaping stuff. As it's massive, it's an important subject, so there's going to be lots of it in the coming months till the end of this year, depending on what Greg Hunt does. But yeah, I want this channel, as I set out originally, before I even got sidetracked 4 years ago starting vaping, to be about the stories that matter, you know, the stories that should be told, because the thing is right now, more than ever, as we see our news networks, etc., being basically consolidated, folded. We've seen in the 10 network only, it was about a week ago, announced that their news networks will not have state by state news coverage any longer, that there will literally only be 2 news coverages for Australia, one being for Adelaide and Melbourne, and one news coverage to cover the rest of Australia. So this, I believe, is the future of doing media, whether you like it or not. Localized media, whether it be me or you having a go on your own YouTube channel, it's the only way, I think, to engage live within a chat, you know, you just don't have that type of engagement, if you like, with an audience normally, and I think that's awesome. Greg Hunt's seen how big his pockets are. No, I haven't, and if he ever does the elephant trick, I don't want to see it. Anyway, it's probably more than enough information. He will get a very, very short feature in the Oz Up in Smoke. Yeah, look, we'll soon see. There's it's an interesting subject, obviously, but as I say, we've all got our own stories, no matter what it is. We've all got our reasons for getting from one stage in life to another, how we actually got here, and a lot of you guys and girls will probably think, oh, nobody wants to hear my story. Who wants to hear my little bit of a life story? Well, you might think it's boring, because it's your story, right? But when somebody else hears it, you'd be amazed just actually how amazing your story is. And that's the whole premise of what Pippas Live is all about. It's being in the moment with someone and learning more about something from somebody else. It's about experiencing just new things and staying engaged, keeping things grounded. I think we need more of that in these crazy, crazy times. So guys, with that, I am going to head off for now. I want to thank you so much for watching, if you're watching this live or on the replay. Till next time, you take care. Be in the moment. Don't waste a moment. This is that moment. I'm Pippa Star. You're all beautiful. Till next time, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Stay subscribed. Click that bell. All that sort of good stuff. Okay, ciao for now.